What's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrificed my time so you don't have to. Do you mind if I could bum you guys out for a couple of minutes? Oh, you do mind? I don't give a fuck. Check this article out real quick. Link is down in the description box below. I'm not going to read the entire article. I just want to take out one specific excerpt, and I want to just deep dive a little bit into what the fuck they're talking about, and more particular what Wardlow is talking about, because what he just said is one of the most dumb dick idiotic things I think I ever heard of professional wrestling in recent memory. He says, and I quote, actually let me read the article, then I'll read what he says, kind of set this up for you guys a little bit. Wardlow thinks AEW have helped bring back the Monday Night Wars vibe to wrestling. The former TNT champion recently returned to AEW at World's End, joining Adam Cole's Undisputed Kingdom. While he failed to beat Samoa Joe for the AEW Championship, Wardlow still has a big future ahead of him in the company. Sorry, had to pause there for a second. I came back, almost died laughing. They actually said that with a straight face too. That's actually fucking hilarious. Literally, I laughed for about like a good 2 minutes. I actually legitimately laughed. I had to come back. I couldn't. It took me like 10 minutes. I'm good now though. Wardlow spoke to Zinnia Did It about his view on the scene today. She asked his opinion on wrestling today. When asked if he considered today one of the best times to be a fan, he compared the current product to the quote-unquote attitude era of the late 1990s. He gave credit to AEW for creating competition for WWE. Oh, bro, I'm about to hurt my throat. I'm about to hurt my throat again. No, stop making me laugh, bro. What the fuck? And I quote from Wardlow, "I grew up during the Attitude Era, which up until now was considered the best time in wrestling." Up until now? What? Okay, continue, Devontae. "We're getting back to that type of vibe where it's exciting and fresh. I feel like there's... What the fuck? I feel like there's a younger generation getting back into it. Like wrestling is becoming cool again. I think a big thanks goes to AEW for coming along. Competition is good for everyone. Once again, we're back to that kind of Monday Night War feel where there's something for everyone and there's some competition and it's just exciting again." He goes on to talk more in the article about other irrelevant bullshit that has nothing to do with what I want to take apart, which is the retarded quotes that he was making right there. So let's get into that. Again, if you want to read the rest of the article, it's like another paragraph or another section. Again, nothing worth talking about, but link is in the description box if you want to waste your time with that verbiage. So, if you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of Wardlow. Well, let me scratch that. Was a big fan of Wardlow before Tony Khan decided to book for him. Ever since then, I've given Wardlow chance after chance after chance after chance through no fault of his own. Again, it's all based off of what Tony Khan feels, and how Tony Khan feels at the moment in regards to Wardlow is treating him like a person who did things to him when he was in high school. We clearly know that Tony Khan hates Big Man. He has a certain disdain for Big Man because of what happened with him in his locker room, inside the bathroom stalls, what happened to his girlfriend who he thought was his girlfriend, but in reality she just needed help with her homework, and in reality she was dating the jock, and the jock actually needed help for his homework, but he didn't have the balls to go ask Tony Khan without Tony Khan being threatened. It's a long list of Vietnam flashbacks that Tony Khan has in regards to Big Man. And he takes it out on guys like Wardlow, guys like Will Hobbs, guys like Rusev, guys like, I want to say Brian Cage, but I did say big men, emphasis on men. And we can clearly see that Tony Khan just doesn't like big man wrestlers. It's pretty clear, right? So to see Wardlow sit on his perch and pretend as if Tony Khan is going to see what he's saying, and then all of a sudden run with his, "Oh, you like my booking? You think my booking happens to coincide with the best time professional wrestling?" As far as the actual feelings in itself, not like, the actual, you get what I'm trying to say. Fuck, I'm too stupid right now to think straight. I might have used that word wrong, but who cares though? My point being is though, Wardlow, you're not going to get back into Tony good graces. He already has his mind made up as far as who he wants to push in the future in regards to his company. And that sure as hell doesn't include your bald-headed ass, alright? So check it out, Wardlow. What I want you to do is to sit back, go in the mirror, and I want you to look dead in that mirror, and you see that person right there, that person happens to be your pussy ass. I want you to look directly inside your eyes, and I want you to tell yourself the truth. Yes, I should go to WWE, and I will make tons of money because they actually have respect for me. And then once you're done doing that dumb shit, I want you to actually look back in that mirror again, and I want you to tell the truth about the product currently in AEW and how fucking shitty it is, because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's all shitty, bro. We've been through this how many fucking times? That's literally what my entire channel is based off of, is stupidity based off of AEW. Really, the stupidity based off of professional wrestling. But it feels like AEW is totally vying for my attention right now by consistently having to wave a white flag and say, hey, Devontae, over here, Devontae, Toro, come on, horns, go. Wait, is that a red flag? I think it's a red flag. Fuck, who cares though? Based. But no, Wardlow. No, it's not the same. It never will be the same. And you guys need to get out of your mind. See, you know what the attitude... I remember back in the days growing up when we were actually, like, inside of the Attitude Era. You know what we based the Attitude Era off of? Nothing. No, well, I mean, the booking probably had influence from ECW. But, I mean, like, actually looking at other eras and saying to ourselves, whoa, the Attitude Era, golly gee willikers, it feels like we're back in the... What era? You know why that was the case? Because it was innovative. You know why that was also the case? Because they actually stood on their own. You know why that was the case? Because there was nothing else to compare to the Attitude Era. It was its own entity. It was its own, as it said, era. It did its own thing. It distinguished itself. You know, it actually had relevancy within pop culture. None of that. Let me repeat myself for most of the fans out there. None of that has to do with today's wrestling. There are so many metrics and so many new avenues created within professional wrestling where it might give you the illusion that right now currently we're in the boom period. But when you take new avenues and when you take inflation and you combine it together, again, like I said, it creates a pretty neat little thing called a mirage, and it makes you believe that water happens to be over there inside that fucking grueling desert that you're unfortunately having to march through day after day after day after day. But let me warn you, let me tell you right now, in your mind, you see water. In reality, it's more sand. It's lots and lots and lots and lots of sand. It's a drought, really. And that's what professional wrestling happens to be right now. It's in a drought. Do not confuse the and mind you, I will give props and I will give credit where credit is due in regards to WWE to create as many avenues as they created in order to get people to want to tune into their gay ass show. Mind you, again, like I said, if it's going to be between WWE and AEW, definitely WWE happens to be the better product and the hotter product at the moment. All props to them in the end of the day, okay? There are a lot of people who are coming back to professional wrestling who want to watch the WWE, but don't confuse that with popularity. Don't confuse quantity with quality. And honestly, even more so quantity. You can actually say that also. Because let me tell you something. What we see in France, what we see internationally is damn sure not happening domestically, okay? People are now coming to the shows, and granted, that's really cool. I can't really explain that why that happens to be the case. I think that has more to do with storylines that actually happen to get over with Roman Reigns. And credit where credit is due creatively. I will say that. Honestly, I will give all the props in the world. And like I said, with the structures of different avenues created for professional wrestling to be advertised that apparently Tony Khan doesn't want to take advantage of, I absolutely understand why people would believe that they're currently right now in the boom period. But let me be the one to bring you back down to earth to remind you that you're not in a boom period. And this is not me necessarily shitting on today's wrestling. Like I said, there are aspects of today's professional wrestling that I could look at and I could totally decipher and I could say, oh, I like that, and oh, I hate that. But make no mistake about it, there is more I hate that than I like that. And you know why I always talk about the Attitude Era, at least coming from my own perspective? I always talk about the Attitude Era because that's the last time I can remember professional wrestling being consistently good. It's the last time I can remember actually being engulfed within a character or within a story when watching professional wrestling on a consistent basis all throughout the card. I can't do that in professional wrestling today. Now, you might get some nooks and crannies, and you might get something that happens to just rear its ugly head up out of nowhere, and I might link myself onto that, like the Bloodline story, for an example, which, by the way, that can also be off and on. It depends on my time of the day. It depends on the time of the day of your girlfriend also. And by the time of the day of me, I don't mean anything gay. Pause. But I definitely mean that with your girlfriend because she has her period all over my goddamn bed. Why? Because she sleeps over here. She should get the fuck out of here. I'm done using the bitch. But, look, You guys can hold on to that spiritually, mentally, however you feel like you have to get through the day compared to the Attitude Era as far as the current state of professional wrestling. It never will be the case. It's not just strictly because of the bleeding and the cursing and stuff like that. First off, you don't even do what the Attitude Era actually did. I mean, it was just more than just the bleeding and cursing as far as the fundamental stuff is considered. You also had naked women and sexuality. You also had people like Wardlow who were plastered everywhere as far as looking like Greek gods and actually captured the imagination of a young motherfucker like me who was actually tripping through the actual channels. You know what I mean? Like, there's more to professional wrestling than just bleeding and swearing in order to compare it to the Attitude Era. But my thing is, why do you even want to compare it to the Attitude Era? It's like watching all these movies and music videos nowadays consistently trying to fucking remix the new song or do a remake of another movie. Why do you consistently want to hang on? Because I see people all the time tell me things like, Devontae, you can't let go of the Attitude Era. Oh, Devontae, you're such a nostalgia warrior. Yada-dee, yada-dee, blah-dee, 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 blah. And I said it once, and I'll say it again. Whenever I hear people talk like that, I take that as a confession of jealousy. I take that as a confession of envy. You hate the fact that I won't put over your shitty-ass wrestling era today, and I consistently can't get my head out of the clouds when it comes to the Attitude Era. Here's the thing, though. I do the same thing to the Ruthless Aggression Era. Not to the same lengths as I would go with the Attitude Era, because I thought the Ruthless Aggression Era wasn't really as good as the Attitude Era, although the Ruthless Aggression Era was still good. But when you guys tell me not to reminisce and to talk about it and shit like that, you can't blame me, because that era of professional wrestling actually had people talking around the water cooler. You can't blame me because two of the biggest wrestlers in the history of the business were produced at the same time, at the same place, at the same time, in the era, same place, era, time, place, whatever. You can't get mad at me over that, bro. Maybe if you weren't so persistent on social media going around saying 5-star matches, then maybe you'd probably have some of the producers or some of the people who are working backstage focus more on the characters within professional wrestling. We can get more stories and less matches, and the matches that actually happen to be awesome can actually be on pay-per-view. If we can actually have legitimate build going to those actual matches. How many times did I say actually? More than your mom gave birth to, you know what? No more mom jokes. I said I wasn't going to do that anymore. No more mom jokes. Focus, Devontae. Focus, Devontae. Focus. But seriously though, you can't get mad at me over that, okay? If you're a professional wrestling happy to be consistently good, don't you think I'd be consistently talking about that all the fucking time? And it's not as if I don't talk about it all the time. The majority of my content does reference today's professional wrestling, albeit it's more backstage stuff than happens to be on television. But like I said, you can't blame me for that. Blame the actual wrestling industry who wants to focus so much on the shitty storytelling in professional wrestling, if you even want to call it that, because it doesn't even really exist nowadays. Blame the fans on Twitter who want so much to focus on the quality of the matches, when the quality of the matches don't mean a goddamn thing when no one wants to watch the fucking matches in themselves. That's not my fault. That's your fault. My fault is being the guy to call that shit out, and then you look at me and you say it's my fault for not wanting to fucking get past the strenuous, horrible, sexist, misogynist time of the Attitude Era. You know, again, you can't at one point say that professional wrestling is so fucking lame, but then when I bring up an awesome time of professional wrestling, you say you're stuck in your head in the clouds. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You know how I know the Attitude Era is super awesome too? Because what is Wardlow comparing it to, huh? Is Wardlow comparing it to the Rock and Wrestling Era? Not to say that was bad, but I'm saying, is he comparing it to the New Generation Era? I'm definitely saying that's bad, but still, is he comparing it to the Ruthless Aggression Era? No, he's trying to compare it to the Attitude Era. Although I do find it funny that he's trying to compare and say that AEW is the reason behind this. And more importantly, I got a fucking good kick out of the fact that he had the audacity to say that AEW is competition for WWE. If they're competition for WWE, then I'm competition against someone like Mr. Beast. But no, neither one of those things are in actuality, and neither one of those things are going to compare. Let me help you guys out with what definitions and words mean, okay? So check it out. Competition would mean that there is another guy who is giving you a run for your money in terms of a goal, and usually that goal happens to be who happens to be better than the other person, right? That's what competition is. Now, you can call yourself a competitor because you are in the same field as said person who's opposing you. That makes a lot of sense. But you know who else is a competitor? TNA is a competitor. You go, and New Japan Pro Wrestling is also correct. You go on here, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, if that shit still exists, that happens to technically be a competitor. You go with this, anything that happens to be taking market share away from WWE and the wrestling business or industry happens to be a competitor. You know, technically speaking, I mean, would you guys consider me competition against someone like a Jim Cornette? Fuck no, that's fucking retarded. You can look at our numbers and you can totally look at our quality of work and it's not even fucking comparable. But there's a lot of you who listen to Jim Cornette who's in my audience. So technically that makes me competition, right? No, it's fucking dumb. It makes me a competitor. A guy who's in the same field as him, doing the same thing that he's doing. But I'm not competition because I ain't got 400,000 fucking subscribers. He gets my views. The amount of views that I get in 24 hours, Jim Cornette gets in fucking 24 minutes? No, it's not the fucking same. And I'm sick and tired of these jabronis in today's professional wrestling climate pretending that this happens to be the fucking case. Not me and Jim Cornette. No, that's the fucking pipe dream. I'm talking about consistently trying to compare this era to the Attitude Era. It's not competition. And for the sake of the AEW fanboys, I'm tired of you guys pretending as if you are competition to the WWE. That's the reason why Tony Khan's in his mindset as he is right now. Constantly having to cherry pick numbers to pretend that he actually is going head to head with WWE. No, you're not going head to head with WWE at all. Maybe some of their YouTube videos on NXT can go head to head with some of your main shows, but not the actual main program in itself in regards to Raw, and definitely not SmackDown. So Wardlow, here's a little bit of advice, okay? You ready for this? A little bit of advice? First off, get the fuck out of AEW. That's your first advice. But if you're going to consistently stay there, if you're going to stay there, and you're going to listen to what I'm saying, you're going to say to yourself, Devontae, what you're saying right now, I have hope. I have hope that AEW will one day, they will be legitimate competition to WWE, and you're gonna eat your motherfucking words. Well, here's the thing, you can instigate that change, Wardlow. You can put your money where your mouth is, and you can take whatever rhetoric that you're placing across this fucking television screen of mine, and you could probably be the person to say, Devontae, I'm gonna be the person that's gonna make those words come true. Oh wait, you're not. Why? Because AEW fucking hates you. Well, maybe we can find some other person who can fit that mold. Oh, wait, they won't. Why? Because AEW fucking hates them. And the Attitude Era, everybody had the opportunity to get over. And when you got over, you stayed over. In AEW, when people get over, well, okay, cool. You did good, Joey. You did good, boyo. Now, can I focus on this other talent right here? Because it seems like you're the redheaded stepchild, and it feels like you got this whole thing done. You're good. You're good. Let's go. You're gonna get married to Prince Charming one day. I gotta make sure these girls over here, they're okay because they're ugly as fucking. You, not so much. You get what I'm going with that, Wardlow? What I'm saying is, bro, there's no one who's gonna be in any position to make us, me, you, they, them, whoever, pronouns, eat those words that you're putting out there that is absolute bullshit. That's not me saying it. That's what the numbers entail. Don't shoot me. I shot the sheriff. You can go shoot the deputy, all right? But with that being said, I gotta get ready to prepare for NXT later on tonight. Did you guys like the commentary video? Of course you did. So let's not talk about that. Let's talk about what actually happened within the commentary. Did I say anything that was completely out of pocket? Probably. I don't give a fuck, though. Why? Because I'm Devontae and I'm the shit. Without any paper, by the way. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I gotta get the fuck up out of here. First, I gotta go take a piss. Then go grab some beer. Then I'll go do the NXT stuff. Or maybe I might procrastinate a little bit longer. I don't know. It depends how I feel. Deuces. P. Eyes.